everyone. So today we're going to be doing the Coumarin Dyes lab. We're going to be doing two different condensations, the Coumarin condensation and the Pechmann condensation. So with the Coumarin condensation, here's our starting material. What we're going to do is we're actually going to start with a base. We're going to be using pyridine. And with that base, we're going to make an enolate, which is going to undergo a modified aldol condensation, which then undergoes a transesterification to form our Coumarin dye. So that's our Coumarin, and we're going to purify that product from ethanol by doing a recrystallization. And that should be able to give us this clean product, and it's very fluorescent, very bright colored. Our Pechmann condensation is slightly different, as our Coumarin condensation was base catalyzed. Our Pechmann condensation is acid catalyzed. So we're going to start with our starting material, which is resorcinol. We're going to do a transesterification first, followed by with that transesterification is acid catalyzed. Then we're going to acidify it more to protonate it, which is then going to undergo an electrophilic aromatic substitution to form our final product here. Once we have these two final products, this one is going to be purified by recrystallization again, but with methanol. With our final products, we're going to be doing a bunch of different analysis on them. So we're going to be taking a melting point, IR, UV vis, and fluorescence spectrum. So we're doing the Coumarin Dyes lab, and I've already kind of started the reactions over here, as you can see. In this flask back here, we have the salicylic aldehyde, and in it is the ethyl acetoacetate with a couple drops of the pyridine. So as you can see, it's just kind of stirring in the background. All of the solid is dissolved, so I did not have to heat it. But if you did see that there was still solid in it, you would want to heat it for a couple minutes before leaving it to stir for 20 to 30 minutes. This reaction up here in the smaller flask, this is the resorcinol. And to that resorcinol, we started with 1.5 mils of water, followed by 3 mils of concentrated sulfuric acid. And to that, I added in the 400 mg of the resorcinol. And then the very last thing to add is 500 microliters of the ethyl acetoacetate, which is the same thing that we ended up adding to this back flask. So let's add that here. Okay. And this front one, the resorcinol flask, it needs to be heated for 20 to 30 minutes. And then after that, we're going to do a recrystallization on both of these. So after stirring for about 20 to 30 minutes, what I've done is I've cooled the Pechmann product, cooled it for about 10 to 15 minutes, and now I've filtered it, and we have this nice yellowish precipitate. And now we can run the recrystallization on it. So I have boiling ethanol. So what I need to do is I need to put this back into the flask, add the boiling ethanol until it's fully dissolved. Then I'm going to chill that down again until I get another precipitate, and then filter that, and then that should be our final product for the Pechmann. For the Coumarin, we have this, which stirred for about 20 to 30 minutes, and the boiling methanol. I'm going to just add that into here, enough so that it fully dissolves. Stir that around. Add a little bit more. We want it to be fully dissolved, so we want it to be more of a clear instead of an opaque color, because the opaque still indicates that there's solids floating around in there. All right. So when I let it sit, we can start seeing that opaque color go away and see more of a clear. I'm going to add just a little bit more, because we want to add just enough. All right. And now that we have our methanol in it, we want to let this cool in our ice bath. for about 10-15 minutes, and we'll see our recrystallized product form from that. So I've filtered and recrystallized the Coumarin product, and that's this really pretty white, shiny powder here. And now I'm going to filter and collect the Heckman product, which is here, and then rinse it with a few mils of just cold ethanol. So there's not a lot of product, but there's a little bit of yellow crystal we can see in there. So once both of the powders are collected, we're going to take IR, melting point, NMR, UV vis, and fluorescence spectra of both of the products.